A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Eswatini TV. You are tuned in to your favorite tele-education program, Home Study. My name is Lerato Mabilisa, and as always, I am not alone. I am with the lovely, the stunning actually, Nogwazi Lamini. Also joining me in studio are the sign language interpreters Tobile Fagutse and Linda Mamba. A very good afternoon, Nogwazi.
A very good afternoon, Lerato, and a very good afternoon to our viewers. And thank you very much for calling me lovely and stunning. You're gorgeous as well. Very good afternoon to our viewers, and we hope you had a lovely day yesterday and getting ready for another day of learning today. How are you doing?
I'm great. The day is good so far. Please, can you give us today's timetable?
All right, grade 7s, Form 3s, and Form 5s. Just to remind you that we do apologize for yesterday. We had one subject that couldn't be done yesterday, so we're going to slot it in today, so the show is going to be a bit longer. So this is what the timetable looks like for today. From right now, we have English language for grade 7, then we have science for Form 3, Siswati for Form 3, biology for Form 5, chemistry for Form 5, and the last subject for the day will be Siswati for Form 5. So it's going to be a very long show today, but anyway, it's all for you. We're doing it all for you. Lerato, please tell us about our social media platforms.
Well, you can get us on YouTube, or you can find us on YouTube or Facebook. We are live from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays. And if you have missed any episodes, do not worry. You can catch any episodes that you've missed on our YouTube channel.
All right, without wasting any time, Lerato will be right back with the grade 7 English language teacher, Themba Dlamini, will be right back after this.
Wash hands now. Wash hands now. Wash hands now. Wash hands now. Hand washing is one of the best ways to keep from getting sick and staying healthy all year long.
Why is hand washing with soap effective against COVID-19? The coronavirus is too small to see, but is covered with little spikes that stick tightly to the natural greases on your skin. It gets on your skin by someone with COVID-19 coughing or sneezing nearby you, or by you touching an unclean surface where the virus can stay active for up to several days. But washing hands thoroughly with soap for 20 seconds is highly effective against the virus. Soap loosens the grip of the virus on the skin and destroys the outer layer of the virus, pulling it apart. This means the virus loses its power to infect people. Washing your hands well with soap means you can destroy or remove the virus and wash it away before it has the chance to infect you or your family.
Welcome back, grade 7s. If you have just tuned in, do not worry. We are about to start our English language lesson with Mr.
Themba.
Yes, with Mr. Themba Dlamini. And the topic for today is direct and indirect speech. A very good afternoon, Mr. Themba.
Afternoon, Lerato. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine as well.
Okay.
I'm fine as well, yes.
Today's topic is direct and indirect speech.
Yes.
What would you expect the learner to have learned by the end of the lesson?
All right. Thank you very much. This lesson is very important. That is, direct and indirect speech. They are very important to do. So at the end of this lesson, I want my kids to be able to punctuate sentences to make them direct speech, and also to be able to identify the exact words of a speaker in a sentence. And also they should be able to report or to write those direct sentences in reported speech. So basically today, that is what we are going to be doing here.
Okay, it sounds very
Yes,
interesting, and
yes.
I'm sure that the grade 7s are looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, grade 7s, get your material ready for your English language lesson.
No.
So, without wasting time, you may start your lesson.
All right, thank you very much, Lerato. Let me take this opportunity to greet all the viewers at home, and especially all the grade 7s at home. This is your time, good people, for us to learn about direct and indirect speech. Now, we are going to start our lesson by looking at the reasons why exactly are we supposed to do direct and indirect speech. Now, direct speech is important and always used when we want to say the exact words of the speaker, or the words of the speaker in their original form without changing them. So when we're talking about direct speech, we are talking about the original words of the speaker. We do not change them in any way. And then secondly, reported speech is essential in everyday spoken English to basically report. We are looking basically on report, to basically report on what another person has said. There are many countless situations in which we may use reported speech. Hence, learners, or hence you must be taught and encouraged to master reported speech. Now, at the end of this lesson, I expect that you will be able to define direct speech, and you'd be able also to define indirect speech. And secondly, I expect that you are going to be able to distinguish or to differentiate between direct speech and indirect speech. And lastly, I expect you to be knowing the rules for doing direct and indirect speech. So those are the objectives for today's lesson. And I expect you, as we do the lesson, you must have a pen, you must have a textbook, that is your grade 7 textbook English, and you must have an exercise book where you are going to do the exercises that we are going to be doing as we continue. And then we are going to start by looking at the definitions of direct and indirect speech. Now, we are saying when you are talking about direct speech, you are talking about the words or the exact words of the speaker in their original form as the speaker said them. This is to say, even when you are telling someone about what a speaker said, you are not changing this word. You are telling me exactly the original words which the speaker said when you were talking the other time. Whereas when you are talking about indirect speech, it tells in different words what someone has said or what someone said earlier on. This is reporting what someone said. So it means, therefore, when we are talking about reported speech, we are talking about reporting. That is very important. Reporting what someone said. And then when you're talking about reporting, it has to do also with the tense. We are going to see how you change all those tenses as we continue. For now, I want us to look at these two sets of sentences. That is set A and set B. We are going to read them together. Now, we are going to start with set A. The first sentence in set A is saying, "I am hungry," said Sipho. The second one is it still raining?" asked Nomsa. Now, the two sentences on set B read as follows. The first one is, Sipho said that he was hungry. And the second one is, Nomsa asked if it was still raining. Now, my question for you, good people, is how are these two sets of questions different from each other? Which one amongst the two can you say this set of questions, of sentences, is a direct speech and this one is an indirect speech? Another question is, how do you know that this is direct speech and how do you know if this is a reported speech? For instance, if we look at set A, you are going to see that there is a lot of punctuation that is used here. For instance, there is this one here that is the inverted comma or the quotation mark, and there is also another one here. Don't worry, we're going to talk about them more. And there is a comma and there is a full stop. The same with the second sentence, it has the same punctuation. But when it comes now to the second set, that is in B, you are not going to find all these punctuation marks we have talked about in set A. Now, what does that tells you? Okay. Now, from the two diagrams above, it tells us that A represents a direct speech. What tells us to say A is a direct speech? Don't worry, we're going to look at that. And then B represents a reported speech. In B, you saw that there are no punctuation marks that have been used here except for one, which is the full stop. And then in A, there are many. There is a comma, there are quotation marks, and also there is a full stop. Now, how can we tell if words are direct speech? That is important. That is what is going to explain set A and set B. Now it says here, direct speech words are put or placed between quotation marks. Quotation marks, they are also known as inverted commas. For example, now we have what is known as single inverted commas or single quotation marks. Single means one, so it means when you are using single inverted commas, you are using one opening inverted comma and you are using one closing inverted comma. And also there is double inverted commas, whereby now you are using two opening inverted commas and you are using two closing inverted commas. What we normally say is, if you are told to punctuate sentences, choose one of these two types of inverted commas. If you decide to use the single inverted comma, use it from top to bottom. And if you decide to use the double, use it from top to bottom. Do not mix them. So now, as we see here, we are saying these words are put between quotation marks. That is to say, when you are looking at direct speech, the words there should be put inside the quotation marks. So you are going to know by seeing those quotation marks to say these are the direct words of the speaker. We are also going to see how now you can identify the words in a sentence. Okay. Now, one of the rules to do direct speech is to use quotation marks at the beginning of a direct speech. So you use quotation marks at the beginning and the end of a direct speech. If you can look at example number 1 here, you can see that we have used inverted commas or quotation marks at the beginning and at the end, where the exact words of the speaker are ending. And this inverted comma that we have used here is known as the opening, because it opens the conversation. So it's the opening inverted comma, and this one, which is at the end here, is known as the closing inverted comma. Why? Because it is closing the exact words of the speaker. And then the other one is saying, use a comma to set off the reporting verb with the exact words of the speaker. Set off in this case means you are separating the exact words of the speaker with the reporting verb. What is the reporting verb here, or which is the reporting verb? How can you see the reporting verb here? This is the reporting verb here. It says, said the captain. That is, if you have read the sentence, once you come across said or told or taught, so you have to know that that is the reporting verb. If you can read the sentence together, it says, all passengers assemble on deck, said the captain. Now, the minute you see said, you know that, okay, it means this is the reporting verb. It means, therefore, now I have to put a comma between the direct speech and the reporting verb.
Teacher.
Now, before we continue, can we go to Lerato? She has something to say.
Sir, can we please take a quick infomercial? We'll be back after this.
Thank you.